It's not till halfway through pod, you'll be right.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I know you are.
That's why I stopped talking.
I know. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. And if you have seen me 3 days in a row, I feel very sorry for you. I'm sorry, but I was on B&C Sunday morning because I think it was smart. It was out, and then yesterday I jumped on Just Joe's football show, and then tonight you've got me hosting again. You lucky bastards. So yeah, joined tonight by Gilly, who has got his flat cap. How are we doing?
Yeah, not so bad.
And we got Jay, who's got his Lego cap. How you doing, Jay?
Wish I had that. It's all gone wrong here.
Shave it off. Become one of the baldies.
Fuck that, mate. I'm keeping it as long as I can. I'm knocking
Embrace
on
it.
Embrace the baldness, mate. Just
Okay,
lift it up.
now.
Let's have a look at you. How much it's receding. Oh, it's going
It's not
back.
that bad, really.
It's all right.
That's playing deeper than Everton did against us.
Hey, it's more than you've had since you're about fucking 18, I get.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll run the intro and we'll get into a bit of footy chat.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Orta No Better podcast. Let's do this.
Few comments there already, Jay, on your Barnet, which we'll love
Thanks for the
to see.
love.
Jay's here. He's an easy target. Let's get him.
Wing backs
Even
are
for
bombing
people-
forward. I love that.
Yeah.
It's a good one, that, to be fair.
Even for people who don't really know you that well, but it's a free hit, isn't it, on Jay, to be fair? Let's be honest.
Cheers, mate.
I'm only messing. Right. Yeah, plenty to talk about. I mean, I've done it to death over the last 2 days. I'll be honest with you. And I know, Gilly, you were in some state with me on Sunday morning. But all in all, I mean, what a feeling to be able to come onto the podcast today and just be a little bit more positive, I suppose, than we have for the last 5 or 6 weeks, the last 8 games. I mean, after Arsenal, we had the opportunity to be positive. But other than that, we've not had a whole lot to shout about, have we, Jay?
Wait, I'm liking that comment from Sol. Gilly wearing his Grand National Jockey cosplay.
Hey, this is a Leeds jumper.
Is it? Yeah. Look. Yeah. They look like polka dots from a distance.
No, it's definitely a Leeds jumper. We come on with Leeds kits on and that sometimes, you know. You lads let inside down today, but yeah, you know. Get into it,
You know what? I just hang one up now. I don't bother. I just hang one up behind me and hope that somebody sees it and thinks so, and assumes that I'm some sort of Leeds fan.
No, it's a different one, isn't it? You had Aronson up last time.
Yeah, I do try and mix it up, mate. All 3 of them.
See, I do pay attention.
No, you don't. You just sleep under my bed, you weirdo.
Yeah, but only because you asked me to.
So yeah, I mean, Jay, it's probably better to start with you. As I say, I've done it to death on Joe's show last night and on Berardi and Coke on Sunday. Give us your thoughts on that game as a whole and your extortionate football knowledge.
Just.
Orta No Better predictions.
Do we not do that first?
We
No,
normally
we'll do
talk
that
about the
after.
previous game, then we do that. Are you all right?
No, we don't. We always do predictions first. Always.
No, never with. Right, Gilly can get. Yeah, we'll bring Gilly back in for his predictions in a bit.
Right, okay.
Right, yeah, no, just give us a bit of your thoughts on that, Jay, first of all, before we do the predictions, because everybody might be shocked to hear how we got on in the predictions, and based on your superior football knowledge, people might want to hear that first.
They might do, mate. They might. I mean, you know, I've got an extensive football manager CV behind me, so what more do people need? It was a fucking awesome game. It was just one of those games that were just brilliant that you'll remember for a long time. No, I couldn't because it was our lass's birthday. So,
oh, she's our lass now. She's been upgraded.
Hey, listen,
She's been upgraded since the group chat.
She's the only person I'm seeing, so she's our lass.
Is she watching?
No, she won't be watching. She
Well, no.
won't have a fucking clue, mate. But no, I mean, I couldn't have gone because of that. So, I'm a nice guy at the end of the day. What can I say? But I mean, yeah, I watched I was just watching Rodrigo's goal again today for some reason. I think it just randomly popped up on Twitter, and I just sat and watched it a bit. And I like when we have these moments, and you can just admire, as you say, and just revel in it a bit. We've not had much of that this season, but I just like when you watch it on TV, he looked like he were already there, like waiting for the ball sort of thing. But then when you watch it back properly and you see it from the right angle, you realise he actually got there because he was switched on, and he was more switched on than the guy next to him, the Liverpool defender. I don't know if it was VVD, were it?
Well, yeah, and I think he was a yard in front of him with Van Dijk, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, and it was just like, bloody hell, he reacted and he got there, and you can't ask for more than that. I mean, it's an open goal, so it's an easy finish. Bamford has still missed, but yeah, he did everything right, and he were there, and he capitalised, and it were a great start. And then when they equalised, I thought, oh, God, I think we all probably did.
10 minutes later, when it was at the 14th minute.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. And going on like previous recent games, you think, oh, shit, we've had it now. But this time we're different. This time we didn't collapse when we conceded. We didn't just fold and roll over and lose our philosophy, as I've said before. We kept doing what we were doing well, and we kept at it. And they had the chances. They had more of the ball. But I think Phil A said today, they had a lot of the ball, but not necessarily in dangerous areas. So we were all right with that. We were content to let them do that. And I think we picked us battles well. We didn't expend our energy on things we didn't need to be doing, And
one thing I noticed, Jay, just on that, before you sort of move on, sorry, mate. One thing I did notice that what we do against teams that we're expected, I suppose, to be putting more of a challenge against is we press much deeper in their half, whereas we let them have their ball almost to the halfway line until we started our press this last weekend. And just a quick stat that Joe threw out last night was in the games that we've had 40% or less possession, we've won. We've not won a game where we've had over 40% possession under Jesse Marsch this season. So, yeah, I mean, just highlights exactly what you're saying.
That's an interesting stat, to be fair. I've just seen that comment as well, Gilly. Cheers, Sol. Fuck's sake, man. Anyway, so, yeah, I mean, we picked us battles well. We did what we needed to do. I think that there's a lot less pressure when we play games against sides that we're expected to lose to. I think that helps the players big time. I don't think anyone had a bad game, but obviously there were a few crazy moments like Cooper's air kick, which I bet he were absolutely giving himself some stick after that. Like, fucking hell, what were that? Luckily, we were all right. Melier were just like Superman. He was just amazing. And him and Adams just basically ran that game for us. It would have been a different game without either of those guys playing, I think. We all thought that it'd be Sinistera that we'd miss, but yeah, I mean, we managed just fine, and now we've got the sort of dilemma, does he come back in? But Bamford, man, I mean, how long do we keep giving him these minutes? When is he going to be sharp? When is he going to learn how to take a ball down?
Well, I mean, look, I'm sure we'll come on to that, but even before Bamford's chance, we had the Christensen cross where Aronson brayed it against the.
Oh yeah, Jesus!
We had,
and again, I thought, oh shit, that's his chance. That's his chance to win it.
You don't get many against these sides, especially away from home. Do you know what I mean? And we didn't look like losing that game for me. But even from the start, we didn't feel. I didn't feel like we were playing Liverpool away. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it sounds a bit fucking stupid and a bit backward, but because the way, although we weren't in possession of the ball, we always looked relatively in control. I mean, there was a couple of times where they sort of moved us around the pitch really well, and Nunes had a one-on-one, and Meslier kept us in the game. I mean, Meslier being man of the match just states how what sort of game it was. But from a Leeds fan's perspective, we're happy with that. As long as we can, punish and capitalise when we get then we'll be happy with that. Fine. Who was the best outfit? Obviously Meslier, easily man of the match. Who impressed you mostly from the other outfield 10 or even the subs?
Well, I think Somerville obviously had a good game, which we're pleasing to see, because I've not up to this point been impressed with him when I've seen him in the first team. I wasn't sure if he had it, but he kind of shoved that back down any doubters' throats, didn't he, against Liverpool? But it's got to go to Tyler Adams, hasn't it, for sort of best outfield player there. I mean, that he ran that game, he ran that midfield, He were a constant nuisance to them. He didn't let them settle or do what they were trying to do. And I think without him there, it would have been a very, very different game.
Quite a common answer and a common suggestion is Tyler Adams. But all in all, I don't think anybody had a bad game. I mean, other than Bamford when he came on. But even still, I mentioned last night, Bamford is a very, very intelligent centre forward. He's finishing and he's rusty. Yeah, fair enough. But he's intelligent. We don't create half as many chances when he's not on the field. It's just a shame they fall to his fucking feet. That's all. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But let's be honest. We all thought that Liverpool were going to come and play like 2019 Barca against us, didn't we?
Yeah, and look, we'll come on to the predictions in a minute, but the general consensus was that we were going to struggle to keep the Premier League record at 9-0 after Sunday, I think. So yeah, look, all in all, absolutely buzzing. Do we need
totally missed the Barca reference, didn't you, Gilly?
Yeah, it's I wasn't going to mention it, but yeah.
2019 Barca, Luke. That's what we thought they were going to come and
I
play.
think the reference online with 2018 Barca, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? Oh, shit.
That's why we're funny, Jay.
I'm going to stop trying to tell any jokes tonight then.
Yeah. So yeah, but all in all, what a position. I mean, and what an absolute transition from you guys who came on and did this show last Tuesday to tonight. Do you know what I mean? How much more energy we've got and how optimistic we are and everything else in between. But with that in mind, and given your exclusive knowledge of soccer, why doesn't Gilly just tell us a little bit about
Orta Know Better predictions?
How did everyone get on this week, Gilly?
I don't want to say now.
How did they get on, Gilly?
To be fair, I didn't want to say before. I'll just run through the predictions first. So Jason went 7-0. Big Lou went 7-0. Scotty went 7-0. Luke went 4-1. Carl went 3-1. I went 3-1. Bren went 3-0. Joe went 4-0. Fans went 1-0. Stats went 6-0. Smarty went 4-0. And Jay went 5-4 Leeds. Every single person other than Jay went Liverpool win. We all get -5
Come
on! And the result there is that the fans started 5 points clear, but the fans get -5, Jay gets 3, and shoots to the top of the league.
Like Superman.
Hey, Jay, for having that belief, mate, I think, do you know what? You deserve it. And I'm quite happy to take -5 every week if we can do that. I'm quite happy. If I finish rock bottom on minus, what's 38 times 5? I know I can't do that now, but it's 190, I think, just off the top of my head. Not that I'm any good at maths, but
it's close to that.
No, it is 190. And yeah, I just can't believe that out of everybody in the group, if anybody was going to get a prediction right, it wouldn't have been you. I would have put money on it.
I don't understand why you think this, Luke.
Well, I've known you for 2.5 years now, Jay. That's why.
I'm the oracle. I'm an expert. I'm a footballing expert, and it's now been proven.
Yeah.
Because of that, I've got a celebratory drink.
A WKD orange to go with
Tropical. It's the only alcohol I had left.
Just what Batty's Magic Sponge just said here. We are really fickle as football fans, and I think it's natural as a football fan. You know, we've got to take the roughs with the smooths, the ups and downs, as we like to say at Leeds United and as fans. But ultimately, we are fickle. You know, we look at last week, and we did pretty much a grief cast last after Fulham, and it was it. Would you believe it's one of our highest rated shows that we've ever done because it was all about Jesse Marsch being out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk too much about Jesse because I know we're going to come on to the poll in a minute or two, and I know that was one of the options. I'm not sure if it was the winner, but if it wasn't, we'll come back to it anyway. But yeah, I'm sure all will be revealed. But yeah, I think you have to be fickle-ish as a football fan. From 1 minute you can hate a player, the next minute is the best player in the side. Look at when Rafinha signed for us. He couldn't trap a fucking ball, could it? And then he went on, and he was arguably our most important player for the rest of that season and the next. So yeah, we're allowed a little bit of fickleness. We're allowed to sort of go back on what we've said. It's fine. You know what I mean? You don't have to, because you've made a decision, stick by it because you're Orta out or you're the border out. You're allowed to change your mind. So yeah, I think fickle is a great word. Jay Shittinika's playing it safe. Yeah, hey, 5 points. 5 points says playing it safe. I don't think so. I think we thought we'd all played it safe. Not fickle. Still hate Leslie Ash.
That's a bit harsh. Isn't all that happened there is she got cheated on?
Well, I think so, yeah.
Who knows, mate?
Captain our nailer.
I thought so.
What is that? Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen. Well, we'll not get into it, but maybe.
Jesus Christ! I just want to pull this comment up for a sec from Scooby D2 here. 4 young strikers, pick one, get Yelder fit, left back, 2 subs on minimum at that tide, turning 60, 65 minutes. Would you really replace Stroik at the moment? I'd
have him in centre backs. I'd have him play.
I would ideally, but
not for Yelder.
Do you think there's anyone better at left back at the club at the moment?
No, I think that's what he's saying, isn't he? He's saying get Yelder fit. Well, he's saying get Yelder fit, but then left back. I'm not sure whether that's sign a left back or play Yelder at left back. I'm not sure.
I think he means play him there, play Yelder there. I wouldn't drop Stroik for him. I mean, I'm not 100% on Stroik as a left back, but I don't think, after seeing Firpo's recent efforts, I don't think there's anyone better at the club currently in that position.
Just to get Pascal at centre back, I think.
Pascal at centre back, Yelder in at left back. I don't think you can take Pascal out at left back for anybody now. And I think Cooper and Koch has been our most solid centre back partnership for a while, and we've looked steady, and we've looked. You look at when Cooper was taken out for that first half of Leicester, and when Llorente was brought back in, it just goes to a mess. Like, do you know what I mean? It just gets messy. And Cooper, he's got a mistake in him. He did it at the weekend. He has got a mistake in him.
I don't think you change anything after a game like that. I don't think you can.
I don't even think you can put Sinisterra back in.
What? I mean, that's the one. Is you look at Sinisterra and you think, well, he's dangerous. He scores goals. But hang on a minute. You'd either have to drop him for Jack Harrison, who's our highest assist getter at the moment. And in the provider, and he's also in the top 10 of. I've not seen since this round of fixtures, but him and Aronson were both in the top 10 for chance creation in the league. Or Somerville, who's got 2 in 2.
Yeah, good point. We'll come on to that when we get into Bournemouth. We'll come on to a bit of this, because I think it's going to be quite a good talking point actually, how we might line up and if we can change anything, but. Before we do, we have got, in the lack of Smarty, who's absolutely ruining the comments tonight, we've got his doppelganger, Jay, who is going to
looks just like him.
He's absolute twin. He's going to run through the
Twitter poll results.
Take it away, Jay.
Right, well, it's that time of the pod that everyone loves, when we put a poll out after much sort of prompting and pushing to get Smarty to get off his ass and actually tweet it. And the viewers and listeners can have a vote and see what we discuss as the main topic on the pod. So 4 options as usual tonight. We've got time still ticking. How much time has that result bought Jesse Marsch? Stand up and sing for Leeds. Safe standing being installed in the Cop. Bonding in Beverly Hills. World Cup break, away trip or stay and train. And then we've got sinister decision. Cine to start or stick with Somerville, which we were just going on about. So luckily that didn't win. Fucking hellfire. It's hard to keep focus on what you're doing on this pod sometimes. It really is.
So what won then, Jay? Come on, get
Anyway, without further ado, the winner is time still ticking. How much time has that result bought Jesse Marsch, Luke?
So for me, I've always been relatively supportive. I'm not a fan of the manager merry-go-round, but my loyalties pretty much died after Fulham last week, and I was very much with the belief that he wasn't going to be the right man. I thought he'd lost the dressing room. I thought I didn't think the players looked. I thought they looked lackluster. I didn't think they wanted to play for each other. I didn't think they wanted to get stuck in. They weren't. They didn't seem to be clicking. And I just, you playing with fucking metal straws?
Absolutely not, mate. It's plastic. It's yellow striped for Leeds.
It's noisy. That'll do me. Anyway, yeah, I just felt that there was no. I don't know. There was just no cohesion, and I felt he'd lost the dressing room, and he looked a beaten man against Fulham. And then this weekend's performance was the absolute opposite. Of Fulham and Leicester in the second half at Palace. How much time has it bought him? I suppose I'm going to be really honest here. I think it depends on how we get on at Bournemouth. If we have a really good result against Liverpool, but then we're shit again now against Bournemouth, there's something not right. You know, we can't only be motivated for big games. That's not how it works. They're not our battles, allegedly. You know, if we're pushing for Europe or whatever, then yeah, absolutely, they're our battles. But we need to be beating teams that are going to be in and around us realistically at the end of the season. So how much time has it bought him? I would say this weekend, and a lot will depend on that.
Absolutely,
For me, I don't think the club will get rid of him, but I think from a fan's perspective, I think this weekend will be really crucial.
I absolutely agree on the thing about that's not our battle. It's the teams that we could be down there with that we need to be winning against. That's what's important. Performances against the bigger sides and results against the crappy ones for me is what I'm looking for mainly. What do you think, Gilly?
Well, you look at where we are in the league, where we've been, and I've said a few times, I think the best we can hope for is 17th. Genuinely, I think we're going to be in and around it in that mix for this season. So if you're beating the sides at the top, you're not taking points off the sides around you. And that's the kind of the point that Luke were making at the weekend is, and made just now is that those are our battles because those are the sides around us. And so I think for me, it's there's no better than going to a side that thinks they're going to wallop you and beating them in last minute. You know, that's actually what we're in it for.
Yeah.
But we need to stay in it, and you stay in it by beating Fulham and Everton and Villa and Bournemouth upcoming. Yeah. That's how you stay in it. In order to be able to be in it, to be able to have the great experiences, those great experiences, beating Chelsea the way that we did. You know, we were, a lot of us in the stadium, we kind of dumbfounded, looking around, going, "What the fuck is going on?" And it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. But you don't keep having those experiences if you don't also beat the sides that are down towards the bottom of the league, and unfortunately, we are as well. Yeah. So it's not an expectation to go and beat them. It's the way that we've been beaten by the sides around us. It stings. So I think in terms of time still ticking, I'm really wary about moving a manager on. I agree with Luke. I don't think he's going to be moved on because that would mean Rad's paying somebody off and then buying somebody out of the contract if he don't want somebody that's available. And the reason that I'm saying that I'd be really wary about moving him on is that list of managers that's available don't make great reading.
He strikes me as the type, does Rads, that somebody will say something to him about Sam Allardyce and he'll be like, "That's a great idea." What, you mean he's known for keeping clubs up? And he's free.
Yeah, I had to tell half
England manager, no less.
Yeah. I had to tell half a fucking Twitter that I was arguing for days about Sean Dyche because there was actually people that believed that was the answer, and that's never going to be the answer to whatever question it is.
No,
but just on what we're talking about with Jesse Marsch and time and things as well. One thing I'm worried about, I suppose, is how is he motivating these teams and these players? Do you know what I mean? Because if there's no way that we can put in a performance and play really, really well. I mean, I get that the teams that aren't your Chelseas, your Arsenals, that aren't your Liverpools, they play differently. So is it a motivation issue that he's not motivating them for the right games or getting them too motivated for the big games that they're absolutely knackered for the other games? Or is it that we're not playing the right tactics against these teams that are trying to spoil and slow it down? Is it a mixture of both?
I think the tactics have been poor against some of the crappy teams that we've played. When I went and watched it at Leicester, the thing I noticed the most was that when we got the ball, people weren't running, people weren't moving. And I don't know if that were because there were a lack of confidence and nobody wanted to show for it, or if that were because they'd been told to hold the positions, And to me, that's got to be down to the manager to sort that, either if it's tactical or it's confidence. And there wasn't enough going on in that game for me from Leeds. So to then go out and play like that against Liverpool, there must be something. They must listen to him. I think
we can do it. We haven't, man for man, we've not got the team that Chelsea, that Liverpool, and that Arsenal have got, and we've played. I mean, probably not so much Liverpool, but we were away from home. Arsenal and Chelsea, we played them off the park.
Yeah,
for 90 minutes. Their teams are probably worth 4 or 5 times that ours are. There must be something there that shows that. Because we can do it against those, why can't we change something just slightly, just tweak, just a couple of tweaks that actually gives us that dominative?
Yeah, all right.
Dominative performance against the lower teams, because we do look all right against most of them. We do look all right in spurts, but that's what leads me to question as to whether or not it is a motivational issue. More than, but again, we brought in the sports psychiatrist as well recently. I think I've not brought him in, but I think we've stepped up his duties in that he's going to be doing a little bit more with the players. What do you think, Gilly? Do you reckon it's motivational, or do you think it's tactical? We're inept when it comes to playing them.
I'd be interested to see the distance run. So there was a stat that we not only did we outrun Liverpool by 11 kilometres, but I think that's the most any side's covered in the league so far this season. Now, the side would have known that if they weren't at it right from the off, that it could have been a pasting. That's you see Salah and his exploits, and we got beat by him 6-0. Last season, so they're a side that if you let them dominate, if you let them get on top, and you're not at it right from the off, you can be 1-2, especially us, where if we concede one, the likelihood is we're going to concede another one not too far behind it, and the game can be on its ass right from the outset for us. So they were always going to have it in the mindset that they need to be at it right from the start, but I'm not convinced it is a motivational thing, because I'd be interested to see the stats. I think a lot of it is we're so focused on what we do when the opposition has the ball in an area that we can hurt them, is that when that opposition doesn't have the ball in those areas, we struggle to hurt them. And I think that is a lot of it. I think if you look at the patterns of play, the triggers that make us press, I mentioned on the B and C. It's a little bit hazy still, but I think I talked about the pressing that we did against Fulham. We're all in 1s and 2s. I really want against Liverpool. We did come a bit deeper. We let the centre backs have it. We didn't allow them to maraud into midfield like we did last season when they ripped us apart. Like when City did the same to us. We're in that position where we're comfortable them having the ball. And actually, that's our game plan. And if another side doesn't want the ball, it turns into a drab, annoying mess. And that it comes back to the old never argue with an idiot. They'll drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. And that's what it's felt like against some of them sides. To be fair, though, Fulham just got better than we did.
Didn't Carragher say something in the Liverpool game about Leeds dragging Liverpool down to their level as well?
Have you seen the comment about Klopp that says he usually gets up 2 nights for a piss, 2 times a night for a piss because he's 55, but Somerville's goal got him up last night. Just want to pick up on a couple of the comments, lads, while we've been chatting. 1 or 2. This one of Scooby, I think you've been really harsh on us there. That Chelsea were crap. They were nearly 2 up in 20 minutes. Again, another gift got us off the mark. Arsenal, they were tired and we were fresh. Oh, I don't believe all that. Look, these teams have got multi-million, £100 million squads. I'm not having that we were crap against Arsenal and Chelsea, and they were just crapper. We were really, really good in both those games. I think you've been really. I mean, you could probably reverse that and say that, in games that we've been shit, we probably should have scored more goals. That's football, mate. At the end of the day, that's how it works. We outplayed two really good sides for me. I just think you've been a bit harsh on what the squad achieved in those games. To be fair, there was another one that I saw. Jesse won't be gone until January. Do you think? I mean, even if is that based on if we lose every game until then, or what? I mean, I think if results start to pick up, I can't see that. I mean, I don't see us getting them anyway.
We got Spurs. Would you expect to? I mean, if you take away the record we've got so far against the sides that have been in the top six, I mean, no, that saying it that way is wrong. Against the sides that would expect to come and beat us, like Liverpool, because they're not top six side, but they did expect to beat us. Take that element away from this season for a moment. Is it realistic to go and expect to beat Spurs? And then so before January, we've got Spurs, and remember what Kane and Son did to us, and now they've got Kulusevski as well, and he's looking good. And we've got Man City. So realistic. And what's the last? Is it West Ham, Newcastle,
Bournemouth, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Spurs.
Newcastle was the last one.
That's New Year's Eve.
Yeah. So out of those, Newcastle are playing really well at the minute. So out of those, realistically, you hope for a draw against Newcastle, but they're playing well.
They're away from home, but that's away from home as well. And Spurs is.
It's at their place, yeah. And so we as Leeds fans expect to beat Bournemouth. Can we as Leeds fans expect to beat the other three? So saying, not until January. Well, that's only
4 games away.
3, 4, 5 points on offer. Being really positive about it, you're not going to see a lot of points there, or you're not going to predict a lot of points there.
No.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I don't think we get rid of him. I think we could lose every game from now until the middle of January, and he'd still be in charge. I think they both have got belief in him. I do think we'll invest some money in January. I'm optimistic. I think the board have been. I know. I think the board have realised that. Look,
do you think that'll be in CDK?
I don't think so.
A good point on CDK. Good point.
I've seen some of the tweets today tonight on CDK.
So
it's not gone so well.
No, it hasn't, has it? I wonder if they might fancy him out on loan to us or something, because apparently he's been looking lost and scared to play.
Fuck him. He fucked us off to go to them. Fuck him. He don't get to come here and rebuild his fucking career.
On the other hand, the lad, is it PSV? Gakpo?
Yes.
He's absolutely on fire.
No chance of
he won't be coming here.
None. I think last I saw, he would average in a goal involvement, so including assists, every 55 minutes or something mad like that.
Mental, innit? He'll end up at someone like Scum just to really upset us, probably.
Just Richard. Finally, a bit more on Marsch before we move on. We've got Bournemouth, Wolves, and Spurs before the World Cup. Wolves is a cup game. Hopefully, the Liverpool results.
We're not getting points from it.
No. I think he's got a little bit mixed up. We've got Newcastle on the end of there as well. So we've got 3 league games, a maximum 9 points. I don't think we're going to pick up 7, anything like that. I think we expect now, based on the back of that performance at Liverpool, to probably beat Bournemouth at home. And then I'd be happy for 1 or 2 points in the other 3 games. I'll be realistic. City at home, and then the other 2 away from home, and never going to be easy. Never, ever going to be easy games. So realistically, up until the new year, I'm going to go for, I reckon, 4 points. I'd be happy, more than happy.
I think 4 points is more than enough to keep him in there.
Oh yeah, do you know what? I reckon we could get 1 point and he'd still be in that position come January. I think we got a draw at Bournemouth. I just think that's we've just got to get used to that now. But look, if we keep putting performances in like that, and Marsch somehow pulls a rabbit out there, and something like, we've got a base now. We've got an understanding that we can do it. It just needs to be, the consistency just needs to come from somewhere, and that does lie with Marsch. The players have shown they can do it, that they're capable, they're able, and everything else. So So yeah, let's just see where we go. Right, we'll play a quick advert, and then we'll get into a little bit of what's going to go on at the weekend.
CBD are a family company with a local shop feel and exist to continue to promote the obvious and immediate benefits of CBD products while keeping the cost to you, the consumer, as low as possible. You'll find multiple flavours available on our site, answers to frequent asked questions and suggestions on what is right for you, as well as a web form for you to get in touch. There's free delivery on orders over £50, and don't forget to use the Orta No Better discount code of OKB10 for 10% discount of all products. Lastly, a portion of all profits will be donated to mental health charities.
Lovely.
That needs updating, that, Gilly. There's been a few changes. But I'm not going to be wasting any time. Anyway, just a couple of quick comments while that were coming on. I'm putting a little bit too much on Marsch. I completely agree. I think the players, as I said just before we closed there, I think the players have shown that they are good enough. You know, if we can match teams like Arsenal and Chelsea and Liverpool, maybe so. But it's Marsch's job to find a way of beating the teams that don't play in that particular way and don't come to attack and don't give us the ball. So yeah, cool. Right then, let's have a bit of a chat about this coming weekend. I know we've touched on it a couple of times, and there's people saying that we're going to get beaten at Bournemouth, but it was well worth it at Liverpool and that sort of thing. Right, where do we go? I mean, first things first. I assume we all expect to win, don't we? I mean, don't give me predictions. Don't tell me what your score is going to be or anything, because we'll do that shortly. But as a collective, Jed, would you say that you expect on the back of that performance for us to go and bully Bournemouth?
I'd expect them to go out and do that, yeah. Whether they will or not remains to be seen. But bloody hell, people saying, "Oh, it's worth it because we got that win against." It's not worth it if we don't follow it up. It doesn't mean anything if we don't follow it up. It's got to be a platform to get us going.
Yeah,
I agree. I do. I agree. If you can't translate the feeling of that last minute winner and take that into sides that you expect to be playing well against and competing with and beating, you're in the wrong game. It needs to transition into that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at Leicester. They were rock bottom and absolute shite. They beat us. And they've then gone and beat Wolves, were it 4-0 or something. You know, we need that kind of reaction. We need to see them carry on.
We need to build a bit of momentum, don't we? We need that.
Yeah.
We need to take that momentum, and we need to use it. Yeah, we need to use
that. Bucks the trend as well, actually, doesn't it? Usually sides get up to play against us and then get beaten next game.
Yeah, that's right. Bully B there saying if we even draw, I'll be disappointed. Yeah, totally. Me too.
Yeah,
me too. I want to see us smash them. To be honest, I want to see us go out and dominate them and show what we really can do. But
yeah,
I think apprehensive Leeds feeling.
I think this is an opportunity, isn't it? An opportunity to silence the majority, I would say, even of the fan base. Because look, let's be honest. I would say 95% of the fan base were chewing after Fulham. After those performances for Jesse Marsch and other changes in and around the club, if we were to pick up 6 points from Liverpool and Bournemouth, does that change everything? And how?
I think. Well, go on then. Go on, Gilly.
Yeah, let Gilly have a chat.
A week is a long time in football. You know, there's the. I mean, you can throw a few adages around, can't you? You're only as good as your last game, that sort of thing. I think, from our perspective, we have to focus on what we can do and what's in our gift. And what we can do and what's in our gift is go out and play football the best way that they know how, and tie myself in knots. We've got to go and dominate a game. And that's really what we're not doing. For me, there's a differentiator between playing against sides that expect to beat you and playing against sides that are worried about your athleticism. And the sides further down the league are worried about us. In fact, most of the sides are worried about us because of the athleticism that we've still got. And for me, it's about going and it's stamping your authority on the game and not either waiting for them to make a mistake or just trying to force a mistake. But and this for me is where it comes down to: do we play Sinisterra or do we not? Is actually on the ball I feel like he's one of, if not our most dangerous player. Sides are scared of him.
I agree with you on that.
They look scared of him. They don't know how to deal with him. They don't look like they want to put a challenge in on him. Harrison, and now Somerville stepped up, as Jay said. I was in a similar mindset about Somerville, and he stepped up 2-2, and he's looking much better. But for me, Sinister is the one that sides are scared of, and we might need him against Fulham. But I'll go back to the point I made earlier, and this is why I'm tying myself in knots. Really, is how do you change the side that's just done that at Anfield?
Agreed.
When I think that 2021 fixture that we talked about at the weekend, that wasn't even in front of fans. So there's a little bit of a, you've got to go back to 2019 or whenever it was to the last time they got beat in front of the home crowd.
Yeah,
it's really tough to change it. But what we need to do is go and impress our personality, and I think it's felt like it's been a lack of confidence to go and do that, to go and express. And we have spoke about it before as a podcast. You go back to the Champions League days, and what that side really did well was play their way without fear, and it hasn't felt like any of them have been playing without fear.
And the other thing is, after a performance like that, like we were talking about Jesse motivating the players and stuff, what does it do to those lads if after a performance like that they then don't keep the place in the next game? Do you know what I mean? You're going to think, what's the point then? I ran my ass off for him, and where's it got me?
Good point. And I think that's something that happened after Arsenal when we went into Leicester. He made 6 changes, and now I know a lot of them were fitness based, but the majority of that team could have still started that game. I mean, dropping Cooper and then bringing him on at half time. Why not give him the first half when, follow on that Arsenal performance and things like that? But I think one of the benefits we've got with Jesse Marsch is he is adaptable. And I say, I bang on this drum every week. He recognises that he's made a mistake, and he looks like he's learned, and he does seem to learn and does sort of change things and that. Just looking at Bournemouth, they've conceded the equal most goals in the league this season in 28 goals.
One of them's from a 9-0 defeat, though, isn't it? So
true.
Yeah. But Forest have had their eyes as well this season. To concede 28 goals in 13 games is fucking lots.
Yeah, that's like us last year.
And I was reading something earlier that they have the lowest amount of shots per game as well. I think I can't remember the average, but they've got Kiefer Moore, who was playing at fucking Chef Wednesday last year or something like that.
Them 32 signings working out well then.
No, sorry, I'm on about
Bournemouth.
Oh right, I thought it was on about Forest.
They've got Kiefer Moore and it was Solanke in it. Solanke, the other striker. Yeah. They paid a fortune for him, didn't they?
30 million from it might not have been quite Liverpool. 30, but didn't Solanke from Liverpool and who was it from that were at Sheffield United as well, or might be at Sheffield United now? I think they paid something like 40 million, 45 million for a pair of them, and they scored one in a season.
With the keeper,
yeah.
No, 2 strikers, and they scored one between them.
I forgot who it was.
But Solanke must be about 45-year-old by now.
Nah, he was only a child, wasn't he?
Yeah, all signs point to us. We should, but on the other side, I seen, who was it? I think it was Liam said earlier. Bournemouth seem to have played attacking football, not defensive minded, and not time wasting. That a crap team that does an average team that does that against us we should be hammering them 8 or 9-0. That is our bread and butter. That's the games we now whether or not they play that style against us is completely different, and we need to sort of react to that. Just
to address what you said. Dominic Solanke is 25.
Really? I feel like he's been around forever.
He's like the Stanley Jean of football, isn't he? But yeah, I think if they come, Liam, and play that particular style against us, and we play to our strengths, we will see a great performance at the weekend. We will. Providing they don't come and sort of shut up shop and start being a bit, But look, let's talk about the team. We've spoken about what it can do for confidence and what it does to a young player specifically, but not just to a young player, to everybody enter the squad. The obvious signs point to Sinistera coming back in because he's arguably our best player, our most creative player with the ball at his feet. But for me, I don't change that starting lineup from the weekend. I use Sinistera as an impact sub and bring him on. I either bring him on at half time if need be, or even later. I simply could not drop one of that starting 11 from the weekend, providing we're all fit and there's no niggles, no injuries, and everything. Sense would say to start that same 11. Gilly?
I agree. I think if you're going to make changes, you make them in cup. There's such a lower emphasis on the cup, given our requirement to stay in this league, that you've got a winning formula there. And exactly as Jay said, I hate to agree with him, but sometimes sun shines on a dog's ass some days. But
even a broken clock's right once a day, twice a day. What's the saying?
Somerville scored 2 in 2. What more would he have to do to get the next game? It's the wrong message. So I think that there's a lot to be said for not changing the winning formula. And as you say, if there's no injuries, because that's a big if, and people train fully this week, you go as you are. You don't change that.
Yeah, fair point. Jay, would you change much, if anything?
No, do you know what? I think it's a watershed moment, Luke. I think we're all on the same page and all in agreement tonight.
Oh, hang on.
What the fuck? I don't see how you can change it. It sends the wrong message to the players. And if someone just walks straight back in like that, it just says that they're the favourite and they don't have to try as hard, and then you breed a bit of resentment. And you can't not reward players when they've put a shift like that in for you. They played for the manager there, they played for the fans, they did everything asked of them. Nobody had a bad game. You just can't change it. You just can't. And like you were saying before about momentum, and I think just keeping a settled team, if you're winning, it picks itself, doesn't it? We've got a transition now from being a team that people are looking forward to playing to being a team that people don't want to play.
I don't think anybody looks forward to playing us. I think they always know they're going to be in for a tough game, regardless of who we play. We've not been hammered really this season, other than Brentford, but that could have gone either way, bar a few mistakes. I put a graphic on Twitter the other day about how underperforming we are in our XG compared to our actual goals. And I think if we were on target, we would have scored 6 additional goals. Now, those 6 additional goals, did we mention this on Sunday, Gilly?
You told me.
Ask it him, Luke.
Those 6 additional goals.
I think we've talked about it in the pod chat. I can't remember if we did.
Those 6 additional goals could be the difference between arguably a couple more 3 points from a draw or even a point in some games. And all of a sudden, we're in the top half of the we win at the weekend. Because we've got this game in hand. We go 11th. We go above Brentford, who are having a fucking tremendous season.
And we jump on the bomb.
Actually, no, we did talk about the weekend because you pointed out that most of the games we've lost this season have only been by 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So those 6 more goals makes a massive difference to where you lie in the table. And I'll also point out we didn't get to play against the scum when they were shit, and we didn't get to play against Forest, who was still trying to get their squad playing. So the season could look really different at this point if it had gone slightly differently. Or if we'd have even just had a chance to play the games that we were lined up to have.
Yeah, correct. And Bamford should have scored at least 3 of those 6 goals.
Yeah.
I know that he's had a couple of bad efforts. I do feel for him because he's clearly not fit. He's really clearly, he's not fit. And he's playing. And do you know what? At times, we need him to. So I appreciate him putting his boots on, but you can see he's not fit, and that's affecting him.
100%.
Yeah,
He should probably get a run in 21s.
And missing these chances. Just on the 21s, by the way, we've just to take a quick breakaway. They're 0-0 away at Crewe in the cup. We start with quite a strong team, which included Click, Nonto, Joseph, Geldart, Perkins, Garby, Furpo, Yelder, Drama. So we had quite a strong team there. 0-0 in the cup. I think it's just gone into the 90th minute. And Nonto and Geldart were brought off after 60 minutes, which would suggest to me that they'll be playing some part this weekend.
Sounds like
or
it.
at least on the bench, yeah.
Yeah. And apparently, I think we took...
Who do you go to first?
582 fans there tonight to watch the 21s. Leeds did.
Away
at Crewe on a Tuesday night for the under 21s.
It's a fucking horrible place to get to as well.
It is. It's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about a cold night in Stoke. Crewe's not far away, is it?
Yeah.
But just a question on that. Given, I mean, I know that we've seen Joffrey come on and influence games. Certainly towards the end of last season, he had some real impact in games. But we saw Nonto come on at the weekend and really have an impact on a game. Who's your go-to person? Who do you bring on first? And don't say both of them at the same time, you cheat.
No, do you know what? I think it depends on the position. I see Nonto as a wide player. He's
definitely a 9.
I think he looked. If you watched him at the weekend, he sort of drifted from Harrison's position, who holds the touchline, to behind the striker, behind Paddy, and he kept because he was fresh and full of energy. He could do that, and he did it well. But I think if we're strictly looking for somebody to come on and score and probably potentially be a back, come on for Paddy or something like that, I think you've got to look at Joffrey. I think if you're looking for somebody to come on off the bench wide or sit behind, then probably Willing Nonto. But
that's the problem now, isn't it, Lou?
We've got so much option. I mean, it's nice
It's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. It is, but what we are missing is a clinical number 9 that would get. And I've seen Bully put something earlier on. Bully B mentioned about the XG is BS. It is BS because the game's played on a pitch and not on spreadsheets. I appreciate that, and we all do. But what I'm saying is that XG has got something to. There is something to be said for it, because teams that are outperforming it and underperforming it and whatever else. But look, I think just in response.
Just that one though, Batty.
Yeah, 6 goals. You can't ignore that.
No, you can't.
A couple have been sitters. Oh, it's going to penalties. Is the under 21s? It's going straight to penalties.
It's all right. It's been the Liverpool one were an open goal. 4 yards out or whatever it was.
Still got to react.
He had to react, and he had to beat the best defender there's ever been in existence
in the world,
who's never lost at home.
Yeah. So I recognise what you're saying about a couple of them have been tappings, but still he had to be in the right position and he had to finish it off, and that's what we've not been doing. So 6 in 11 is it's tough to ignore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is as well, with the subs, the order's changed now slightly, hasn't it? Because you're on about bringing Joffrey on, but Rodrigo's going to come off for Bamford probably. That puts Joffrey even further back. And then you've got Nonto. Does he come on or does Sinistera come on? Because you'd think Sinistera's ahead of him, unless they change to.
Look, if they're all fit, we've got a real headache, and I'm glad it's not.
Suddenly we've got some depth.
And it probably also depends on who they're going to be lining up opposite, because you're going to have you've got left-footed players, you've got right-footed players, you've got players who's going to cut in more, and that's on Jesse Marsch to decide who's going to have a bigger impact, I suppose. But in terms of how we line up, man for man, starting 11, I just cannot look past the starting 11 that we had, and in terms of how we can improve that starting 11, we simply need somebody who can join this team and finish the amount of chances that we get. Fair enough, Rodrigo's taken some, but a lot of them have been poachers' goals. He's a modern day Alan Shearer. But what we do need is somebody like as intelligent as Bamford. Bamford and Rodrigo are completely different centre forwards. Bamford he makes intelligent runs. He holds the ball up well. He puts himself about. Rodrigo doesn't do that. He doesn't. He just simply doesn't.
No.
He's a completely different striker, but he is getting the goals. So I completely agree. He does start. Bully.
I'd argue that Rodrigo's not a 9 either. I know we've said he's among the goals, but for me, he's somewhere of a hybrid between a 9 and a 10. It's really difficult to actually because when he plays as a 10, often he's not that effective for us. When he plays as a 9, he doesn't lead the line in the way that we need somebody to do it. But he does get among the goals, so he impacts us in as much as you say. When we've got Paddy on the field, we play in a different way. He's almost a hybrid player that's difficult to get the right position for.
Yeah, completely agree.
Well,
this was very much. Oh, hang on a second. This was very much tongue in cheek, Scoo. We don't take everything I say literally because most of the stuff coming out of my mouth isn't real. It's not actually as good as Shearer. Just quickly, sorry, Jay, before you moved on. I did want to touch on this at some point about the youth strikers. When is it right to give them a chance over Bamford? And I'm leaning towards sooner rather than later. Perkins and Joseph have been ripping it, and I know it's a completely different level. I'm not daft. It's a completely different world apart. But how are we ever going to know if they're going to be more clinical than Paddy Bamford if they're not given that opportunity? I would rather give Sonny Perkins a run out than a 60-70% Bamford at the moment because he's not playing well. Bamford, he could probably do with, like Jay said earlier, a run in the 21s. Give him a bit of time, get him his confidence up, let him bag a couple. Do you know what I mean? And bring Perkins or Joseph. I would lean towards Perkins personally. Put them in the mix on the bench. Give them that first time. But then, what sort of message that's sending? What would you guys do there?
I think probably give Perkins a chance, at least on the bench. I mean, Paddy, we can't carry him constantly. We need him to get up to speed. He's been given lots of minutes now, but he probably does need a couple of games where there's less pressure on him just to get his rhythm back, So, but I mean, Joffrey's ahead of Perkins for me still, but Joffrey doesn't score that many, really, does he? So he's not
had a solid run in the side either. So you look at there's no getting away from it. We've got a really strong youth lineup. If you look at, and I don't just mean youth, I just mean young players. We've got Nonto that's come in. Greenwood fancies himself as a striker forward. I know that we played him deeper. He's not that for me. But he fancies himself playing further forward. You've got Perkins, you've got Joseph. We've got real strength in depth at that layer. I think it's really dangerous to promote too many too soon and take away the experience that you've got as well. Because there is a lot to be said for the experience. We talked about how much we were missing. We lost Berra and Pablo and even Alioski. We lost a lot of experience all at once. So there's a lot to be said for the experience as well. The youngsters need to be brought in with that experience, don't they? They need to be brought on by the senior players. You look to your senior players, your leadership group that he's got to bring those players on. So I think there's a lot to be said for that. But you're right. Until we give them a go, we don't know.
No,
they're untested.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people in the comments saying, give these lads the cup game. Yeah, absolutely. Give them the cup game away at Wolves. Give them the opportunity then, mixed with your Bill Aylins and your Llorentes and your players that are probably more fringe or backup now, I would say, or second choice, I would say, for their particular positions. Firpo. And mix them in with a bit of youth.
Firpo second choice and the only left back we've got.
15 million quid for a left back who's second choice.
Do you know what? I'd rather see what those lads are made of now than find ourselves deep in a relegation battle and having to throw them in, because I don't think that would be the right time.
Do you think we'll be in a relegation battle this year, Jay?
I'm not sure. It depends how we follow up that Liverpool performance. I think if we come out and play shit again and we get beat, then I'm probably going to say yeah. But if we come out and look
bearing in mind after Bournemouth, we could be 11th in the table, a third of the way through the season. Would you still, after completely hypothetical, we beat Bournemouth, are we still in a relegation battle, Gilly?
Yes.
If we beat Bournemouth. Yes.
Yes.
A third into the
And
season,
I'll tell you
mid-table.
why. Because
Go on.
after Bournemouth, we play second, third, and fourth.
You love bringing the good news, don't you?
Do you know? Well, I'll ask the question. So,
It's a bit like that run that got Bielsa sacked, isn't it?
it is. It absolutely is. So, yes, for me.
Liverpool's
because
missed a penalty.
Of course,
Did
he
you at least
has.
get it on target?
I don't know.
Um,
I've just got.
I
So,
think
Klitsch
Go
scored
on.
and Firpo's missed. It's one all penalties. They missed their second as well.
you don't surprise me at all.
They've missed their third.
Click's a magic
Close,
penalty taker. I'd have him if he's on pitch. I'd have him taking them all.
I wouldn't have
No,
fucking Bamford, that's for sure.
So I think I said at the start of the season, I said at the end of the transfer window, and I've said regularly in between, I think 17's the best we can hope for, and we got a stupid chairman that says it's impossible for us to be in a position that we'll even be in that sort of conversation,
Why so?
unless what they do is bring in somebody that's worth bringing in, that arrives as the main man up front. Paddy, you want this shirt? You come and take it back off me. If they do that, I'll revise at that point. And if they don't, I think we're on a wing and a prayer rather
Joseph
than
just missed.
managing it.
I wouldn't even look at the table at this point and think, "Oh, we're all right, Luke," because wasn't it like 6 weeks before the end of the season last year that we thought we were safe?
Yeah.
Not last year we weren't. We were well in the
No, there was a
last year.
point where we thought we were all right, and then we got dragged back in.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not. It's open to interpretation. It wasn't. There's no right or wrong answer, and it was just to get a general consensus and feeling as to where you guys would have thought we are. That bottom half of the table is condensed as fuck this year. There's other than Forest, really. Even they're not miles out of it. There's no teams that are, from 20th up to 10th. There is only 7 points.
Just look at it wider than that. From 19th, Wolves are on 10 points. Fulham are on 19 points in 7th.
Yeah.
So from second bottom
10 points
to the European position, after 13 games, you've only 9 points in it.
Oh my God! Listen to this for a penalty. They've had 4 penalties have been taken by Crew, missed 3. Leeds have had 3 so far, missed 2.
Okay, now. You can see as well. You can see as well.
Oh, they've missed it. Perkins has missed now as well.
Fucking hell, man.
They've won all after 4 penalties.
Championing him for first team.
Is it a missed penalty contest?
4 taken each.
You can tell.
This is when it comes out that the keepers have just played like cats, and all of the penalties have been amazing, but the keepers have saved them all.
No, off
Probably.
target. Perkins and Firpos were off target. The only one.
Oh, dear.
Crew scored their 5th. So Leeds have to score to stay in it.
Just saying about the table being so tight, I think it's showing in the last couple of seasons as well how the gap is widening to the so-called Big Six, but everybody else is kind of leveling out a bit and getting closer. Like the rest of the teams are all getting squads of a similar ability.
Well, look,
whereas the Big Six are sort of pulling away from that, and the gap's widening there. But everybody else is basically just fighting it out for whatever they can get, and anybody can beat anybody out of that group.
Look, I think just look at the praise that Palace, Brentford, Everton are getting the press for doing so well so far this season. We win at the weekend with that game in hand, and we are pretty much equal. We're above Everton, we're above Brentford, and we're a point behind Palace. Palace have got an additional game in hand. Sorry, Leeds have lost. Yeah, we missed it. Last one, they're out.
All players that people are clamouring for.
Yeah, hey, look, penalties are penalties, aren't they? It's a lottery. But,
it is a lottery.
But we're all pretty much agreed that we need to be going and putting in a real performance and making a bit of a statement performance. I think this weekend, especially if they come to play a bit.
Mega pint.
And mega pint.
It's not 2 litre Stein; it's a 2 pint Stein.
2 pinter. 2 litres, massive, isn't it? Fill my
car. 4 pints.
Right then, we'll go on to a little bit of this, and then a couple more bits, and then we'll wrap up.
Orta no better predictions.
Take it away, Mr. Gilly.
Yeah, not too many of us tonight, just the three of us. So, given what we've said, Jay, I'll come to you first. Given your vast knowledge and the fact that you're top of the league, I'll come to you first. What do you think?
4-0 Leeds.
Nice. Luke? By the way, fans, get in the predictions. Let us know.
I'm gonna ask Bully because I think it's the first time Bully's listened. So, Bully, if you want to give us a prediction, we'll take yours tonight because I've not seen you in here before. You could do the fans' prediction this week. Let's go. I'm going to go for. I think they'll score because they've got two big lads up front, and we're shit against big lads. So I'm going to go for 3-1 Leeds.
I held that up before you said it. That's what I've gone. I held it up before you said it because I knew it were going to be the same again.
You're on the same page, you lads.
Hey, I don't know
Come on,
what
Bully.
to say.
Are you giving us a prediction, mate?
Bully's going 3-1 Leeds as well.
Another 3-1. Jesus Christ! I'm either going to pull away here. Or I'm going to get hammered and reeled back in.
Well, we will have, as ever, get all the predictions from everybody else, just Joe and all Leeds TV and everybody else who's involved with the predictions league. At some point, probably in the World Cup.
Oh, hang on a minute. Look at that. It started off so positively, and then we've gone.
It's 2-2.
2-0 or 3-1 loss.
Oh.
1-1, 2-2. What's going on?
What's wrong with you people?
I think I can share their pessimism, to be fair, because of how we've reacted after a performance all season. They're probably a little bit more sensible, shall we say, than us, and you know where the eternal
fuck that. We've just battered Liverpool. Let's just fucking smash them.
Sensible don't get you anywhere in the predictions league, Luke.
You know what you were saying before, Luke, about being fickle? Isn't that the joy of being a football fan? Because we're all together when we're down. We've all got beat. We're all down. We're all together. We all go for a pint. Fucking hell, we've just battered Chelsea. Fucking hell, we're beating Liverpool.
Yeah.
Let's go for a pint and we're all happy.
And then we play like we did with Leicester.
Yeah, but you do it together and you go for a pint.
Yeah,
fair. Fair point. Right then, that's the three of us. We've got obviously the other lads to get, and as I said before, all the other podcasters who join in the league this season. Does anybody have a bit of a bitter rant this week, Jay? Have we got anything? You've usually got something to moan about. Come on, mate.
I've got nothing, mate. I've got nothing. I'm too happy. What can I say?
Gilly, have you got anything to be bitter about?
You know what? I'm really struggling. Even Klopp couldn't impact the way that I felt about football at the weekend, and that's saying something.
Do you know what? I don't think I've got anything for something for Orta, but I'm going to play it anyway, just because most people like to see it.
Orta no bitter with Rachel Adedeji.
Yeah, look, that's amazing that the three of us agree on loads of things tonight.
Especially us.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's a first. Any other business then? Has anybody got anything else they want to have a bit of a chat about in regards to Leeds United? Anything that was on the poll that might be worth chatting about, or anything going on? Safe standing, what do we make of that quickly?
Oh, yeah, I'm all for
You know what? I had to go to that scum shithole so that I could attend the Rugby League Grand Final. And the safe standing's decent. You don't get whinged at for not being in your seat and all of that bullshit. I mean, I tend to be at North East Lower. You don't have to sit down. It's ace. So I'm all for it. It doesn't give us any additional capacity because the seats are all still there. But it is. It's good. It's good flexibility. It's nice to be able to stand up and know that you're not going to get whinged at by some tosspot in a high-vis vest. No offense, Bielsa John.
I first experienced it last season. Oh, that's Emilu's at Orta no bitter. Electric bill is a fucking joke. Yeah,
we can do a lot, but we can't do about that.
No, maybe don't watch us, and then it'll be even less. But yeah, I first experienced it at White Hart Lane last season. Was it White Hart Lane? Yeah, it was not White Hart Lane. London Stadium, Spurs. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
London Stadium's West Ham.
Not London Stadium. What's their new stadium called? Olympic
Tottenham
Stadium.
Hotspur Stadium.
Right, so is it Olympic Stadium?
Olympic Stadium is what is
West Ham, innit?
are, but that's the London Stadium now, isn't it?
As well.
That's what-
All right, I don't
that's
know.
what they renamed it.
I was there anyway, wherever it
Unless
was.
unless
managed
I'm
to get
fucking
there.
imagining it, Luke, which you know.
I
It
managed
is
to
the
make
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I told you that just now.
Yeah, you did.
Ah.
I just didn't believe you because it was
Tell you
you.
what, he actually might be.
Sounded
he might-
plausible.
When are you going to start giving me some credit? For God's
Right.
sake, lads.
I might have to just rename you quickly.
Oh, for God's sake. What now?
The Oracle.
The Oracle, there we
for the
go.
last couple of minutes.
Do you know what? The one thing I'm glad Bully's along tonight, but I would not want everybody stood up in East Upper. It's a long way down.
God no. Jesus Christ! Imagine.
Do you remember the
Leeds
days
stand
in
up
the 70s? I mean, I can't remember the days. I can remember
Hey,
seeing
how old
the
are you?
videos in 70s and 80s. Everybody pressing towards front at Cop. Can you imagine them doing it in East Upper?
Fucking hell, yeah, and they'd all
I've
just
never
be
said
like
Lemons.
piling over at top.
I've never sat down at a Leeds game, no matter where I've been. I mean, obviously,
No, me
I'm
neither.
in the south now, so I don't sit down anyway. But
That's
I
how
don't, even stand
Jason
near,
got thrown out of paddock.
I don't even stand near my seat. I just go stand with my cousin like every time, and you know what I mean. I don't ever. My seat's the fucking other side. But yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see a little bit more of it, and it been rolled out more than just a few seats, because I think it's just a small portion of the
Only
of the
200, I
north.
think, in Cop. Yeah, 200 seats, I think.
And I'm sure we will see it, providing it's successful and people don't start being dicks and everything else. Then and it's a good place to start, because most of the north stand is old people. So
You know what? I got away with that, and Linz didn't have a go at me for saying that to her. So you might be all right.
The only thing they need to do now is bring back pints in the stand.
Yeah, but that's never going to happen. Not at a Leeds game.
Probably not. No.
But yeah, look, I think it's a great move forward for football. Everyone stands up anyway. It's stupid having seats there, and yeah, look forward to more to come. Not going to be there at the weekend. Very sad to say. Still recovering from a knee injury. So those of you who do go, stay safe and behave yourselves. I am going to go to Wolves away though. Somebody's going to give me a lift because I can't drive. So I've been offered to be picked up. I'm going to Wolves. You guys both going to be there at the weekend, I assume?
I'll be there.
I haven't landed a ticket, I'm afraid. I am keeping an eye out. There was one in the cheese while we were on here and I missed it.
Are you, Gilly, you're a member, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because one of the lads who goes with me is on about selling his back to the exchange.
Oh,
well, just take this offline. Take this offline.
No, but I mean, you're allowed to
don't
sell
everybody
to
steal
members,
off
aren't
me. But the just before we finish, a bit of good news is that Jurgen Klopp is now the second favourite to be the next manager sacked.
After Jesse Marsch.
Wow.
After Steve Bruce.
Really?
Fucking hell.
Who's
So
he
that's in
managing
all
Birmingham?
divisions.
Is he
Nice.
managing Birmingham?
Oh, fuck.
I can't even remember.
No, didn't he go?
West
No,
Brom?
forget it. He went to West Brom, but he's not there now, is he?
I don't know.
He already got sacked.
Ali, the knee's recovering really, really well. Thank you
Don't
for
know.
asking. Plenty of drugs. Gilly, I put one back in cop. Get on it. She just put one back in the cop.
Cheers.
Get on it, Gilly. Anybody else watching who wants to get on? Then
Oh,
do it.
the lead site's under maintenance. I can't.
Never. Scooby, stay standing, get caught at the front of the surge of one of those barriers. It's like being at the bottom of a pylon at school. Still fun though. Just get ready to duck under it. How can you sing? How can you sing? Let's go. Brilliant. Never had shin bruises like those from Ellen Road. Prefer to stand. Seats aren't built for grown adults. Correct. Anyway, everybody, we've done your heading now for almost 75 minutes. Thank you ever so much for joining us, as ever. Do hit the like, do subscribe, do tell your friends and family about us. Maybe not children, because we do swear now and then. Cheers, Jay. Cheers, Gilly. Anything else from you guys?
All done,
No,
mate.
I'm done, mate. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone. See you all again soon.